All right, welcome back to the channel. This is I think the fourth part of this journey with this car. We previous ones if you didn't watch them, previous ones we did all the prep work, and I went over some of the overlay stuff. Oh man, couldn't think of it there. I went over some of the overlay stuff, how I do it, how I group it, so you can go back and watch those if you haven't yet. So this is where we're getting into installing all those panels that we prepped earlier in the first three videos. This is a Bicknell, as usual. All the roofs are the same though. They're 48 inches deep and about 52 inches wide. And all my prints have a 1-inch overlap on the borders. I have pretty good templates for all my panels, and they are very accurate. I spent a lot of time making them. Bicknells haven't changed in probably 5-6 years. Some of the other ones change every 3 months. If you know, you know. Anyway, I start on the center of this car doing this roof. It was the first part of the pile, so I grabbed it, and that's where we get started. And the print is, I think that's what I'm getting now, rolled up, so I'm trying to find it. The print for this is probably one of the smaller ones of the whole thing, and it goes pretty quick still, but it's still a big sticker, put it that way. So I'll lay this out here, check my edges. I know on my width wise that I'm, just from doing it, I know where it's got to go, and then I'll clamp it down. I have done these backwards once. I wasn't paying attention, put the whole print on, picked the roof up off the table, and it was backwards. The number was facing the wrong way. That was fun. That was years ago though. I haven't done that in a while. So here I'm clamping the one side in place where it's got to be, and that'll hold the print where I want it. I'm going to do the other side. I'll do about 8 inches of it first, and then, well, you'll see. So I'm just checking here, make sure I'm covered everywhere. I am, and grab my tools and get started with it. I didn't talk much through this actual video because if I remember correctly, I may have been getting sick. I don't know. I could tell by the way I'm working though that I wasn't in a good mood, so something was up. Maybe it was just because it's Monday. But as usual, wet that squeegee with some rubbing alcohol so it glides better, and just tackle it. I'm going to trim a little bit of the excess off here in the front just so it doesn't kink on me while I'm doing what I got to do. So maybe I'll throw some music on here for a couple minutes with this and get an idea of how this goes. Alright, so anyway, no music. I'm out of it. It's Friday. I just finished a big box truck. Alright, so I do these first 8 inches here, and then apparently I felt like I needed to move the camera a bit. And then I'll cut this paper off, and then that'll give me a good starting point. Nothing too much that I can't handle. And I could tell I'm in a mood because of the way I threw that paper. But so this stuff's pretty rigid once it's laminated and the fluorescence on there. So it's not terribly difficult. Well, for me, it's not terribly difficult to work with. I'm sure if I handed it to someone that's never done it before, they would make a mess. And now I'm taking the clamps off, and I'll pull this other half back about halfway through the rest of it. I'll roll it up, peel the paper back, and then I'll roll it up into itself like this, and then that'll give me a good handle for the bigger part that I'm going to lay. And it keeps it straight and just back and forth, a couple inches at a time. You can see that it's pretty rigid. The shop's climate controlled too, so it's not, you know, too hot. And yeah, there's some holes drilled in the roof there for fasteners, and sometimes they look like bubbles in the print. Now I'll do the start doing the other half just about 6 inches at a time, so it doesn't lay down where I don't want it to, and I got to snap it back because fiberglass roofs are pretty flimsy. So both lost my train of thought there. Anyway, don't remember what I was going to say. So that is about maybe 10 inches left of print, so I'll do this once last time, and then I'll flip it over, take the rest of the backing paper off, and then start working towards the edge to finish that up. And I have a wrinkle there I think I can see. Yep. Alright, this isn't typically how I do it, so something was wrong with me that day. Take your pick. Maybe it's cold out and it shouldn't be because it was April and then we had a long cold winter and I just don't want to run the heat, so maybe I'm cold. I don't know. So I'll get to the edge here and then it rolls over the other, there's like a 40, not 45, maybe 30 degree angle, and there's the last inch or so. So then that's installed. That is good to go. I just got to do my corners and then trim it. And the corners on these need heat, so I just I use a propane torch. It's my phone's going off. I used to use map just like camping camping things. Sorry, reading my phone and trying to talk at the same time. I used to use the little camping propane tanks. And then I switched to MAP gas, which seems to burn hotter, and you really got to be careful with it, but I prefer it now. So these corners, I'll just grab the edge, heat away from the corner, and then stretch and pull. So I don't heat directly on that corner where my thumb is. I heat like an inch or two away from it, so I'm not distorting any lines when I pull it. It heats it up enough to where you can put it where you want it, but then you're not distorting any lines and discoloring anything. So I'll trim this out. I usually don't do this. I'll usually do both front corners at the same time, trim it all, then turn around to the back corners. But I think because I had this set up in the camera view of the camera to do it, I just did it this way. So it just takes a little bit longer. So again, heat away from it, stretch it and pull. You don't have to worry about distorting anything there, but you will lose a little color if you overstretch it. And then you'll see like a white, like a lighter blue hue there, which, there's no need for it. So, and okay, so I'm just going to all the corners this time. Got my door open here at the shop and I keep thinking somebody pulls in. It's just the breeze. I also heat the edges here because the thickness with the fluorescent is a little rigid, so I heat that all up and then trim it. And I mean, for years now, everything's been staying put, as far as I know. Nobody's really said anything. I used to put a little bit primer on them, but sometimes when you put primer and then heat that stuff up and stretch it over, to trap some air, so I don't anymore. And they seem to stay put. So that gives you an idea on what goes into doing a roof. And I think next we get into some of the bigger panels on the sides, but that's a different video because that's pretty long, so I'll have to do that in the next one. Speaking of the next one, maybe a week or so, because I'm leaving for vacation tomorrow and I'm not gonna have time to edit these further. So, but there's 4 videos this week, so I don't feel too guilty. So trimming up the rest of the front here, and that does it for the roof. Yep, yeah, the pink 5L, or the pink L's on the 5, and that's it. Not bad for a flimsy fiberglass roof. I think it took me about, maybe 10 minutes. Although doing the things in front of the camera take a little bit longer because I'm focused on where everything is and not, oh, still got a piece of trim, and not, missing anything. So I try to work a little slower when I'm in front of the camera. And apparently I just walked off screen and that's it. Let's see if I come back. probably.
Let's see if it's warm enough outside to open the doors up. Nope. Nope. It's the 22nd of April and it was 32 degrees last night. I can't take much more of this cold weather. Nothing more motivating than working with the shop doors open and the warmth in here. And I refuse to turn the heat on right now because it's April. So it's a little chilly in here. Just thought maybe if I open the doors and get some warmth in here, but I was wrong.